We're diving into some questions that you guys were really curious about today, especially because I have so many new subscribers. And as usual, I'm very vulnerable and open about my experiences. I know I asked you guys for your burning questions, but you guys really came up with some bold ones. And yes, I will be answering those. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Amber, and this is my little dog, Georgie. Now, this is a very different video for me. Typically, my videos are lifestyle vlogs where I share about living intentionally, slow living, even though I have a business. It's about introverted life and also finding that peace and balance where I can still stay true to who I am. I also run a monthly snail mail club called The Story Post, which is a huge passion of mine. It's really an extension of my YouTube channel and allows me to take all of the things that I love about storytelling and creativity and painting and art and intentional living and combining it all in one. So on that note, grab your coffee or your beverage of choice and let's hang out together for a little bit and talk about it. I'm gonna be looking here at my computer for my questions because there's a lot of them. The first one is, new subscriber here. I would be interested in your backstory. I enjoy all of your videos. Well, first of all, thank you so much for being a part of this channel. It used to be called Story Chasing. That's what I branded it as when I first started traveling. So if you look at all my past videos starting in 2017, a lot of it was my full-time travel life. So I was traveling in an RV, started out in a Class C RV, then I went to a van, and then later on I bought a Scamp trailer, and then now I'm here in this apartment. I stopped traveling right around the end of 2022 and leased an apartment, and then still traveled a little bit in my van, and then eventually sold it. Prior to that, I had a very rewarding career in corporate America. I started out in accounting, started that career at the very young age of 17 years old while I was still in high school, mostly in real estate, things from property management to private equity to even self-storage, and stayed in that all the way until I quit that job and quit that whole career in 2018. And that was about a year after I started traveling. I have my degree in accounting and forensic accounting, which I really loved. I really love that thrill of like finding stuff and all that detail and those investigative skills that I had to learn as a forensic accountant. That was a lot of fun for me. I ended up quitting in 2018 and started this YouTube channel, and that has been my career ever since then. I probably will be coming out with a video that goes into far more detail than I can go into here. Part of the reason for quitting corporate America and starting this channel is the desire to do something more with my life. I felt like I was dying this slow death in corporate America. I didn't feel like it was sustainable for me. I wanted to figure out what my dreams were, really embrace that, start really slowing my life down and figuring out what I really wanted. Because even at that time, when I was leaving that career, I had no idea that I would start this YouTube channel. I thought I was just gonna do some consulting along the way and travel for a couple of years and then maybe go back to corporate America in a different capacity. Thankfully, I found this new career that's so creative and amazing and beautiful and allows me to do what I'm doing today. And so it's slowly morphed into what it is now, and my experience with slowing down and leaving corporate America and starting this new business and this life that keeps teaching me more and more about the things that I really want to discover about myself, about finding peace and calm and reducing my anxiety and stress. And how do you do all that with still having a business, which I will definitely go into later because there was one of those questions. What journal do you use for inside your Paper Republic journal? So these are my Paper Republic journals, leather bound, absolutely beautiful journals. But the first journals that I got from them were their journals. It's just the dotted lines, and they're a little bit expensive when you get them from Paper Republic. They're really good quality though, don't get me wrong. But I did find Field Notes is the brand that you can get on Amazon or at Office Depot or something like that. They have ones that fit in here just like that. So I did grab a few of those that I'm gonna be switching out eventually. I'm newish to your channel. Found you when you were just settling into the apartment. Can you tell us a bit about the adventures you had on the road? I had a lot of fun. It was an amazing part of my life. I've traveled to every state in the US except for Hawaii because I couldn't drive there. I've even driven to Alaska. That was in 2019, and it was such an amazing trip to go through Canada. Been all over Canada as well, and then down to Baja, Mexico in my RV, and it was bucket list moment. Wouldn't have traded it for anything in the world. It was just an amazing part of my life. Something that was definitely inspired by my grandparents because they were RVing. I saw the different places that they were able to go, and my grandmother is a storyteller and a painter also. It's interesting that I've kind of moved into that also in my own life. Not because I designed it that way, it just kind of happened. Maybe it's just in my genes, I don't know. I have a ton of videos about my travels. It's probably best to go back and look through those because I could spend an entire video plus some just talking about my travels. Suffice to say, it was a beautiful, beautiful time of my life when I found so much community. I learned so much about myself on the road. I was so minimalist, especially because I was living in a van for part of it, and just learning so much about the different areas of our country and seeing all the nature and the beauty in different societies. Like, it was just really incredible. So I highly encourage anybody to go out there and do it if it's something that you want to do, because it is truly an eye-opening experience. So the next question is, what do you miss most from your travel days? I kind of touched on it a moment just now, but community is one of them, especially from like-minded people. So when I was traveling, there was a ton of people that I met on the road. There was an RV club that I was a part of. A lot of the people that were part of this club were people around my age, even a little bit older, some younger. A lot of us were still working and also traveling full time. So it was very interesting to meet up with other people and see like what kind of RVs do they have and how are they living on the road. And I don't know, we just shared so much in common, and you made friends really, really fast when you're RVing. So I miss that aspect of it. I mean, I have community here now, but it's just different when you're on the road. And one of the other things that I really, really miss about being on the road is just waking up in a different place. And I love sunrises. Those are my favorite. So being able to be in a place where I can see a beautiful sunrise that's a new landscape, whether it be over the ocean or over the mountains, that part of it is just something I will never get over. And then the freedom to just move around as quickly as you want or slowly as you want, being able to travel to your friends very quickly in whatever state they were in. And I think just being in nature, like all the time. There's also some times where I stayed in the city, but just mostly being out in nature amongst the trees and the grass and the dirt and the rock. Waking up to that was amazing. Like, I know it's gonna sound really weird, but I've been to some really beautiful places, but one of my favorite places is in the wintertime in Quartzsite, Arizona. Quartzsite, it's not like, you know, a huge town. It's not like it has a lot to offer, but it does offer peace and quiet. And so you can be in the desert. I would usually get there in sometime around November and then just go to a piece of the BLM land where nobody was around me. I could get up in the morning and hang outside and drink my coffee and eat my breakfast and hang out with my dog, Lily at the time, watch that sunrise come up. One of my favorite memories there is just going outside to see the sunrise with a cup of coffee and a blanket and sitting in my camp chair and then just watching it come up. That was a beautiful moment. I do miss that a lot. Maybe I should get out there and do some car camping. There was also this very specific smell in the desert that felt like coming home to me. I think it's because I spent so many years out there. So every year that I came out, it was a very familiar smell. It's like even when I go back home to Texas, it's a very, very familiar smell. Like the oak trees and the grass, and I don't know, it just brings up memories for you. So yeah, I just miss those parts of it. You've done the classy motorhome, the camper van, the Scamp, car camping, apartment, owned a home. Since starting your channel, which of the nomad living options were your favorite and why? The camper van was my favorite. I had it the longest. I only had the Class C for the first year. And looking back, like there were times when I wish I had kept the Class C just because it was much more functional. It had a lot more room, a lot more storage, but I got rid of it because I just wanted the flexibility of being able to go anywhere that I wanted and be able to park in a regular parking space, and didn't have height restrictions because I ran into a lot of height restrictions when I was on the East Coast. So the van was definitely my favorite just because it was so nimble and I could do anything. Plus better gas mileage too. It was also just easy to live out of. There wasn't as much maintenance as there was on a Class C. What is your favorite place that you've ever visited? I get this one a lot. It's so hard to narrow down, but I feel like I've narrowed it down to 2 of my favorites. Oh gosh, now I'm thinking of another one. Maybe 3 of my favorites. So I'll just say the 3. So Maine is my favorite. Don't like the bugs and I don't like the humidity there, but The topography on the coast is so beautiful, just amazing. It was one of the very first places that I wanted to go to when I got my RV. So it was what I did. I traveled very slowly across to Maine from Seattle, where I started. I was not disappointed when I arrived. It was an incredible moment. I think the ocean and the water, being at Acadia National Park and seeing that sunrise come up over Cadillac Mountain, oh, that is amazing. One of the best moments of my life when I was traveling. The next one is Alaska. Alaska was beautiful in and of itself, but I think it was the whole trip to Alaska. So you have to go through Canada. Part of that was Yukon Territory, and Yukon Territory is very untouched. It's what I think of when I think of Alaska in a lot of ways, because it's just so beautiful, rugged. There's hardly any cell service out there. Tons of places to wild camp. And then, of course, there's Alaska. Alaska was really, really beautiful from the standpoint that I almost felt like I was in a fairy tale. My two favorite cities there are Valdez and Homer. They're both off the water. And when I was in Homer, there was this spit that goes out into the water and lots of little shops and places to stay in your RV, mountains all around and the water, and it's just breathtaking. So, so beautiful. And then the third one that I was just thinking of is Baja, Mexico. One of my favorite places to be because it's where I started understanding more about slow living. They live a lot slower there than we do. At least that was my perception. A lot of times I'd be camping on the beach and these vendors would come up with produce and ceviche and homemade tamales and guacamole and tortillas, and you could just buy right off of them right there. So most of the time you didn't even have to have food for the day in your refrigerator. You could just buy from the vendors who came to the beach. It was so fresh, and everyone was so incredibly kind and wonderful. People always think Mexico is like really bad, but it's not all bad. There's really, really wonderful places. America has bad places too, by the way. Do you miss van life, and would you ever go back? There's parts of me that miss it because of the things that I was saying earlier about the wonderful opportunities and things that I got to see when I was in van life. But at this stage in my life, I'm not gonna go back to it. I feel very comfortable with where I'm at. I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that I love to do, like doing my bread baking and having my mail clip, because it just takes space to do some of those things. I might do something like purchase a van and still have a home and go off on trips with that. So I miss being able to do that, that's for sure. So like right now when I'm thinking about car camping, I think about like, oh, I have to go like make sure I have a bed in the back and I don't have an actual bathroom. I'm gonna have to bring a portable toilet with me, or all of the things that you think about when you think about the things that you need or you want to bring with you on a trip. With a van, it's obviously a lot easier because it's a home on wheels, where the car is not. So it's a little bit more rugged to do something like that. Next question is, what happened to the van? When I was in Texas and I was renting a place in 2023, I actually ended up selling the van just because I felt like that part of my life was really over and I didn't really want to keep the added expense of having the van and all of the insurance and all of the things that I needed. And it wasn't a really good daily driver. So I decided to go ahead and get rid of it and buy an actual daily driver. Do you plan to travel outside of the USA? If so, what countries would you visit? I definitely want to travel to the European Union area, France, Portugal, would love to go to Norway, Sweden, Italy. There's so many. Croatia has always been on my bucket list. I would love to go there. The UK, I also want to go to Japan. I don't know when I will do all of that. I'm hoping to really start planning some trips soon. The problem before was Georgie. Georgie before did not like people very much, and she wouldn't even let them leash her. So it's about finding someone that's comfortable with her and she's comfortable with them so that they could actually leash her and take her outside. It's one of those things I need to figure out, unless I bring her with me. So that's a whole other thing to think about. Did you ever sell your Scamp trailer? I did. I sold it last year to a lovely lady who has a sister who also has a camper, and they have decided to go on little adventures when they retire, which I guess is going to be fairly soon. So they're going to go together. So I loved that. Sisterly trailers together. So any upcoming travel plans? The only travel plans I have right now is visiting a friend who lives closer to Seattle. She just bought a house. I'm going to go hang out with her pretty soon. And then after that, I don't know just yet. Maybe something here early fall for sure. What are your thoughts on taking Lily on the road when you did at her age, especially now that she has passed away? If you guys didn't know who Lily was, she was my dog that I had when I started traveling. She passed away in September 2022, which obviously was devastating to me. At the time when I took Lily out on the road, she was only 7 years old. So she wasn't that old. You know, she was a Chihuahua, so they typically live long lives. She did end up living until she was 15 years old. It was really great for her. She loved it. She had so much fun. She loved the beach. You guys can go back and see some of my videos with her where she loved like just running around on the beach and kicking up sand. It was her happy place for sure. She didn't have any issues at the time when I took her out. It was challenging on the road when she did start getting sick because I would have to find vets. How did you and lovely Georgie meet? Georgie and I met, I guess it was like 5 to 6 months after Lily passed away. And I'm not gonna lie, I was talked into getting another dog by a friend because my grief was so bad about losing Lily that I literally thought that my heart was going to break. I would cry every single day. She was my soul dog. And, you know, we just had a special relationship. So it's like my child, you know, dying, and it really hurt a lot. My friend was like, the only way you're gonna get through this is to get another dog and put all of that love you have into that dog. I acquiesced. A week later, I found her online through a foster agency. So in her bio, it actually said that she would be a great RV dog. And I was like, who actually says that in a bio? I've never ever seen that. So Georgie has been an absolute delight to my household, and I just love her. She's just one of those dogs that will go and do anything except possibly be in the water. She doesn't really, I don't think, like the water very much. In one of my last videos, I was at this bungalow on the beach and she got in the water and she was like, I don't know about this. It was kind of funny to watch her, but she's just a really cool dog and goes anywhere with me. I have a video about when I met Georgie and her whole adoption story there, so you can find out a little bit more about that. The next two questions are follow-up from a Q&A that I did this last fall. If you haven't watched that, I would go watch that video as well because it does talk a lot about kind of the questions that I'm about to answer. So this is a follow-up to that. Someone had asked me before if I was gonna write a memoir, and I said that I was thinking about it. I might. So I seem to get that question a lot about the memoir. I'm so happy that you guys are interested in something like that. So right now, I don't have any plans of writing one. I do think about it. If I do end up doing it, it will be next year that I would probably start writing it, but that's gonna take a while. My plate is very busy right now, especially just because I'm trying to get caught up on things. And so maybe when all of that slows down a little bit, maybe I could start thinking about something like that. The last one was, why did I not prosecute my biological father for the SA, if you know what that means. I don't want to say it on here because YouTube likes to demonetize for stuff like that. In the last video, I did talk about that and what happened. And so you'll have to go watch that video because I don't want to repeat it here. I didn't prosecute him, not because I didn't want to. I did. It happened in Texas. And when I first came out with it and talked with him about it, I looked up the laws. At the time, it had 10-year statutory time limit for prosecuting. And the last time it happened to me, I was 14 years old. So by the time I finally came out with it, it had been 10 years, a little over 10 years actually. Then later on, they changed the laws. And so I could have prosecuted him. But at this point, I was in my 30s and I just, honestly, purely for self-preservation, I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to have to deal with him. I didn't want to have to go through it all over again. I could have prosecuted my mother along with it too because she had full knowledge of it, which I didn't find out until I was in my 30s. So she was an accessory to the crime. So could have prosecuted her as well. They both deserve it. They both deserve to be in jail for what they did. I just didn't want to have to go through all of what I needed to do to make it happen and just move on with my life. I've been through years and years and years of therapy for it, and I just didn't want to open that wound again. So that's the biggest reason. Would you like to own property and a house, or does being a renter fit your lifestyle better? For right now, being a renter fits kind of, I don't know if I would say my lifestyle, but fits kind of what I want right now. I would prefer to have land somewhere and a house on it. For right now, the renting situation works for me, especially because I still want to figure out exactly where I want to be. I'm not 100% sure it's always going to be here in Vancouver. I really do miss living around the Seattle area, so could potentially go there. I don't know yet. I'm not making any plans about that just yet. But for right now, it suits me. Since you work from home and you can work from anywhere, would you consider moving to a scenic location like when I was in Olympia? Yes, I definitely would love to move to more scenic location, more nature, less city, but I still want the conveniences of being around a city and having like good shopping. Not that I'm much of a shopper, but like I like the convenience of it if I need it. But really it's like access to really good food, especially organic food. So being anywhere around nature. So I don't know where that is just yet. I haven't actively started looking. I've got a zillion things on my mind, but I will get there. I will definitely get there. I just will say that I am actively saving for a place of my own. So when time comes and the time is right and I find the best place, then I'll take the leap. I know you looked at tiny homes in the past. Do you think you could ever live in one? I'm obsessed with all the tiny home channels. For the longest time, I really did want to live in a tiny house, but I'm kind of gravitating away from that only because I think I need more space than a tiny house. I always knew that it wouldn't be tiny house necessarily, like the traditional tiny homes, but more of, say, a cottage style. So I'm looking for something 1 story, small-ish, but not too small, and not too big. The last home that I had was right around 2,000 square feet, which was just too big for me, in my opinion. There was a lot of space and a lot of things to upkeep. It was also 2 stories. I would prefer a ranch style house, so 1 level, maybe 1,300 feet, something like that. I have an office, I have my paints. Mostly it's my extracurricular activities. I really want like a huge crafting room. That would be my ideal like dream house, to have a huge crafting room that would have all of my yarn organized, all of my paints, my mail club, all of that, the office in there probably. And then yeah, my bedroom and really nice sized kitchen. That would be my dream. So if you know of anything, let me know. Where did you live before you moved to the Pacific Northwest? I grew up in Texas. I moved to Jacksonville, Florida for about 6 months when I was in my mid-20s. Ended up meeting my to-be husband who lived back in Texas. So I moved back to Texas, then moved to Columbus, Ohio, which is a whole other story, where he wanted to go to school. And then I moved to Seattle after that and stayed in Seattle for most of my adult life. So I moved there in 2001. I moved away when I got a divorce, so I was gone for a year, and then came back and then moved away again one more time when I got a job down in Scottsdale, Arizona, and then came back to Seattle and then started traveling. So yeah, I keep coming back here. It's my favorite place. I'd love to hear more about the financial aspects of your life. Not to be nosy, but I don't think older single women who are still in the workforce share enough about their particular things that they do to support a meaningful life that actually sustains them, their health and reasonable lifestyle that affords them the ability to travel, eat well, save for retirement, cover current medical costs, etc. There's a lot there. Okay. I did have my career in corporate America up until 2018. That was a good chunk of my life. I got my degree, climbed the corporate ladder. I did really, really well in my career, earned a good living, saved up so that I could start the life that I'm in now, although I didn't know this was going to be my life. Saved enough money to travel for a couple of years and thought I was going to do some consulting. Ended up starting this YouTube business. It just kind of took off from there and started making money with it. I don't want to go into like numbers necessarily, but let's just say that it affords me the lifestyle that I have. It allows me to save money. It allows me to save for my retirement, and it allows me to live comfortably. It's the only thing I do. I don't do any more consulting in corporate America anymore. I think it was right around 2020, something like that. I stopped doing it just because my YouTube channel was growing so much. I couldn't do both. Do you plan to retire soon from your accounting job, or do you want to continue working for a while longer? I don't have an accounting job anymore. In 2022, when I came off the road, I wasn't really sure what was going to happen with my YouTube channel. So I was kind of doing YouTube at the same time. But then a former vendor of mine, where I was their client for my last job, contacted me and asked if I was looking for a job. So I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. So I decided to kind of take a look at it and see if it would be a good fit. And at the time it was, and then I was only in that for maybe a year and hated it. Just say that. You know, I had this channel and I'd built something really lovely and I wanted to really continue to pursue it. What monthly income do I have to support my lifestyle, and do you have many sources of income? I already talked about the monthly income earlier, but sources of income, YouTube. So YouTube pays ad revenue. There are sponsorships that I get paid for brand deals. So like I have my mail club, the snail mail club that I do. And if you haven't joined the Story Post snail mail club, you definitely should. I would love to have you. Link is down in the description. It's just a fun way to get a personal letter from me, artwork, a slow living prompt card, a few little other goodies. Have a little over 750 subscribers now to my mail club, so I'm so excited. It is definitely a labor of love, which I will talk more about in the video. And that's it. That's my sole source of income. I know people sometimes want to know, what should I do to start a YouTube channel and kind of make a living at it? You can make a living at it, but I will say for the longest time, I tried to live off of the ad revenue from YouTube. It's not sustainable. It's just too all over the place. So that's why you see a lot of content creators do sponsorships, because it really helps to even out those highs and lows of ad revenue. If you're going to start a YouTube channel, work at getting your numbers up, getting your views up, building community, and then get sponsors after that. My burning questions is YouTube full-time for you, and any advice as a woman in her late 20s trying to embark on a new path? First of all, I'm just going to preface this with, I am not an expert on life decisions. I actually got a lot of questions about life stuff and advice I can give. So I'm just going to preface this with, I can only speak from my experience and what I've kind of went through and what I have discovered. So just know that that's where this is coming from. As far as YouTube is concerned, YouTube is a long game. So if you want to start a YouTube channel, I highly encourage anybody to do it, because it's just a wonderful way to be creative, make a living. And if you're really passionate about something that you can either teach or some kind of niche that you really feel like you have a handle on, it's a great way to get that out into the world and to share with people and do exactly what I'm doing. I share my experiences. I share about slow living. I share about all of these things that I feel super passionate about, in hopes that other people feel the same way and are maybe going through the same things that I'm going through. I just kind of talk from my heart, talk from my experience. I see so many younger people start YouTube channels and do very, very well and are wildly successful. Definitely encourage you to do it. Just know that for most people, it is a long game. And when I say that, it takes time to build. It can take years. So make sure you have some income on the side. As far as starting on this new path and in your 20s, whether that's YouTube or not, my biggest advice for anybody is to be a calculated risk taker. Do all the things that you're thinking about doing, all the things that you're passionate about doing, and just start figuring out which ones really light you up. Because sometimes you think oh, I really want to do this one thing, and then you go do it and you're like, ugh, no, I don't know what I was thinking when I decided to do that. I have been there and done that. I have been what I would call a serial entrepreneur. I have been through so many different businesses, so many different industries, so many different things that I was doing on the side of my career, trying to find that thing I was really passionate about, because in my heart, I was an entrepreneur. I was trying to discover what it was that I really enjoyed doing. I'll give you an example. At one point in time in my life, I started soap making, cold process soap making, loved it, always wanted to start the skincare line, did it, loved the science of it, loved making it and creating it, hated selling it. And I even took a course on marketing and how to market this and get it into stores. And I realized that there was a lot of things that I would have to do in order to make that happen and be successful. And I wasn't willing to do it. So I just didn't. I was like, okay, I'm out. But it was a lesson learned. I discovered things that I was willing to do and things I was not willing to do. I would say that I was a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I loved so many different things. And a lot of people think that, you try something and they call it failing. So if you fail at that one thing that you tried and you quit, they'll either call you a quitter or they'll call you a failure. I do not look at it like that at all. I look at it as on a road to discovery to find out your true passions, your true things that you really want to do in your life. And if you can find something that you're truly excited about, truly passionate about, and make money at it, that's a golden ticket. On the flip side, someone asked, any advice on starting a YouTube channel at an older age? I think the advice that I gave you earlier still applies no matter what age we are. But the beauty of being older is that we have lived so much longer. So we have a lot to tell. We have a lot of stories. We have a lot of experience and things that maybe other people are wanting to know. Another example of a person who started a YouTube channel older in life, he's a dad. He decided that he would start a YouTube channel about teaching all the people who either don't have a dad or didn't have a role model dad. He would teach them the things that they needed to learn. So he has a whole channel dedicated to that. That's pretty amazing and very cool that he wanted to help people in that way. I'm curious about how you make a living from YouTube. If you produce 2 videos a month, is that enough to generate enough revenue to comfortably live on? If so, what's the secret formula, viewers? views, sponsorship. Typically, I make more than 2 videos a month. Typically, I'm making 3 to 4 videos a month. So once a week is my general formula. Because I'm trying to get ahead, because I got really behind with videos for a variety of reasons, I decided to do 2 videos a month for just the summertime. So does that sustain me? So far, yes. It means that I don't have as many sponsors. It means I don't have as much ad revenue, but I still make a good living from it. What's the secret formula? Viewers, views, sponsorships. So secret formula for YouTube, I don't know how much of a secret it is. As long as you're posting consistently, YouTube likes that and it sees that you're active on your channel, then it will push your content a little bit more. As far as viewers, every time I do a video, it's like, I want to do a video that will get the most views, but it doesn't always work. There's a mismatch somewhere. Either my title and my thumbnail was wrong, or you guys just weren't interested in that content. You're always trying to find that one topic or something that will really kick off. And sometimes you hit it and sometimes you don't. When I did the whole video about being introverted and the whole thing about my boring life, I had no idea that that video would take off. I got so many new subscribers from that. I only said that it was my boring life because it was a joke between me and my friends. When I decided to come off the road and stop traveling, and I was scared that I was going to lose my channel, basically. I didn't think people would watch my channel because I'm now like in a stationary life in an apartment. I was like, what am I gonna vlog about? My whole life is boring. I mean, I do the same thing. I get up, I eat my, breakfast and my coffee, and I do my morning routine, and I work, and I go walk Georgie, and then I do it all over again. And I'm like, who's gonna watch that? It's so boring. And that's why I titled it My Boring Life, which some of you have been like, Amber, that's not boring. And I get it. It was just a funny thing. So is there a secret formula to that? You know what? Produce the content that you really love. Produce the content that makes you happy. That's the secret formula for me, is I speak from my heart. I'm vulnerable. I speak about things that sometimes other people aren't talking about. The next question is, I love that you enjoy your own company and Georgie so much. How do you manage isolation? Or are you simply as content as you are? I don't know if I would say I'm really isolated. I have community around me. I've met some wonderful neighbors who've now become friends, and I have friends around the state. I'm very comfortable with the way that I am. I'm comfortable, of course, with Georgie. We have a good little life here. I'm isolated as in not going out and communicating, one-on-one with people, with friends, comes and goes. There's times when I just want to hang out here and knit all day, and sometimes I'll invite a friend over to come knit with me. I really enjoy that too. So there are times when I definitely love just being by myself, and the other times when I'm like, okay, Amber, I think I need to go out and get some like quality time with a friend and enjoy each other. I probably am more by myself than I am with people, for sure. And a lot of that's just because I still work too. The good news is when I vlog, it allows me to get out and do things. And even though I'm working, I'm also showing my life so I can get out and be with other people too. It is truly a blessing that my job entails documenting my life. I feel really fortunate that you guys like to watch and that you're so engaged with the community and with the videos. And I work really hard at not only like showing you things that I'm doing in my own life and the experiences that I'm having, but also bringing up important topics that I think we're all thinking about and want to talk about. Do you ever think of getting a male companion? Does that ever cross your mind, or do you visualize yourself aging solo? Interestingly enough, the last video that I just came out with talked about that, about being single. So I'm going to reference that video inside of the description here so you guys can go watch that, because I just kind of answered that. Many of us admire how you transition from the corporate years into this slower chapter of life. You've created such a lovely, cozy home. You share so much love with your little dog, and you support it all through your YouTube channel, the Snail Mail Club, and sponsorships. What does living truly, authentically, and slowly look like for you in practice these days? Are there times when the responsibilities of content creation and the club feel at odds with the slow living philosophy, or has it all blended into a peaceful, intentional rhythm that brings you fulfillment in your 50s? Whew, that's a doozy. But a good, very, very good question. Okay, let me see if I can tackle this. So first, let me just say that living authentically to me is also showing the things that I don't do well. I'm not saying because I have a slow life and I live intentionally and try to stay grounded and all of these things, and I present this to you all, that I am also a master at it, because I am not. But what I am trying to show you guys is how I'm navigating through it, because we all have things in our life that stress us out, that cause us to have anxiety. We need to figure out how to navigate through it despite how busy we are or how slow we are living our life. I have a busy life. I run a business and I work 40 plus hours sometimes. I try not to work more than 40, but a lot of times I do work more than 40 hours. And so my whole life is not this, endless peaceful montage. It's just not. I show a lot of the things that I do in order to create a peaceful life with all of that happening around me. So I think that is one important key that I would say is important for everybody to think about, because so many of us still have jobs. How do we create this slower life while still having very busy lives? The other part of that is just because I'm slow living, it doesn't mean that there's this absence of ambition in my business. That is far from the truth, because I want to grow this channel. I want to grow my mail club. And with that comes responsibilities that require me to really focus and sometimes do more. Or like right now, I need to do more on social media, but I don't have the time to do it. So I'm looking at hiring someone. And that for me, as part of slow living, is learning what are my boundaries. The other thing is knowing what needs to be done versus what I actually want to do as part of that need, and maybe outsourcing the things that I don't really want to do. I still want to have downtime. I still want to live slower and more peacefully, where I'm not always go, because that was my life before. It put me in a really bad spot of being stressed out and having anxiety. Kind of goes back to the whole corporate America scene. So for instance, this entire summer, I'm only doing 2 videos a week in order to get ahead. I could be producing more videos if I really wanted to, but it would mean that I would be working from 6 a.m. until midnight to get that done. And I'm just not willing to put myself through that. I prioritize my sleep now. I make sure that I get enough sleep as much as possible, because I'm in menopause and that's really hard to do. So it's another reason why I just really focus on it and make sure I get good sleep. Have this good quality of life. I've done the whole rat race thing and I'm not interested in doing it anymore. Slow living looks like building systems and making sure that I'm setting myself up for the best possible day. So that's why I start my mornings off really slowly. That is non-negotiable for me. I have to get up, have breakfast, have coffee, take Georgie out for a walk, do some reading, do some knitting, like really just keep my brain nice and slow. And I'll sometimes do meditations in the morning. I'll journal, just everything to set my day up so well, because I learned a long time ago that I need to give myself, my personal self, and my brain the best possible hours of my day, which for me is the morning. It's where I can focus the most, where I can really relax the most. I make sure I do that no matter what's going on in my life, even with my busy schedule. And I don't always get it right. There are times when I'm, know I have like a huge deadline and I need to work, and I could forgo my morning routine, which sometimes can take me an hour and a half to 2 hours to do in order to work and get things done. But guess what? I have then abandoned myself once again. And I've done that in corporate America, where I abandoned myself for something else or somebody else. And it's not sustainable. It doesn't work. It's not good for my mind or for my body or for my emotions. I just refuse to do that. What has been your biggest growth discovery in the past year? When I thought I was going to come off the road and transition from traveling to living full time in a stationary place, I was scared to death that I was going to lose my business. I thought, well, people aren't going to watch. That was just a story that I was playing in my head. I was really motivated by my fear and anxiety, even though I don't typically do that, but it was such a big deal. And I was doubting myself. I was doubting that people would still watch my channel after everything that I had built on the channel for the last 7-8 years. Surprisingly, it turned out way better than I thought it would. And surprisingly, you guys came over and still watched. Some of you didn't. Some people left, and then some people stayed. A lot of you stayed, and I gained even far more new subscribers. Whole channel took off in a way that I just didn't imagine that it would take off. And my lesson learned for myself was just to really believe in myself, believe in what I was doing, create that content that I really love and enjoy, and people will come. What is that saying? If you build it, they will come. I know that's not always true, but in this situation, it was. And I think I just had to believe enough in myself that I could make it happen. I doubted myself and it still happened. Huge lesson learned for me and growth opportunity this last year. It far exceeded my expectations. That was all because of you guys, to be honest with you. So Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. What is your biggest motivator? For example, mine is my dog Molly. She keeps me going. Oh, I love that. One thing that really motivates me is freedom. So it motivated me to go into traveling. So freedom to have a better life, to be more in control of my time, to travel and learn more about things on the road. And then of course, leaving corporate America, having that freedom to build my own business, that was a huge motivator for me as well. And now that I have this business and it is successful, the motivator for me is to continue that and to continue producing content that you guys are really resonating with. So you're my motivator as well for this business because you guys ask me questions, you want to know certain things. You help influence a lot of the content that's on here, but it all kind of does surround freedom. I love the fact that I'm in control of my own income, that I can make as much or as little as I want in this business and still, again, have my slow living lifestyle. I really want slow living, but I work full time, 5 days a week, and I don't have any vacation, which is the reality in Japan. Do you have any advice to find a balance between working full-time plus slow living? I feel like I can only relax on the weekends. The biggest thing that I would say is to start off small. Do small, slow things. It's something that I talk about in the Story Post Mail Club. The prompt cards that I provide talk a lot about the various things that you can do to take small baby steps, because I realize that a lot of us have jobs. So how do you implement slow living when you still have a job and you're busy? So start off small. If it's just having that morning routine, like I was telling you about earlier, or something that you find, doesn't have to be morning, it can be evening routine for you. It could be middle of the afternoon routine for you when you're working at your job to get away from your desk. There's all kinds of ways that you can implement slow living and feel better about your day while still working. Go for a walk. When you're at your office, if you can go for a walk for even 15 or 20 minutes, something to calm your brain, bring up those serotonin levels. If it's going and sitting in a chair and reading a good book or bringing your knitting with you or enjoying a good meal, having a cup of coffee. When you come home from work, if you need this transition between work and then settling down, maybe when you come home from work, you're really frazzled because of the day. So maybe go take a bubble bath or go outside and exercise. Anything that can bring that stress and anxiety down in your life and doing things that you really, really love and enjoy. I guess that's the best way I can say it in a very short amount of time. Even if it's for 10 minutes a day, in the morning, evening, afternoon, maybe it's 10 minutes each of those times. What is something viewers would be surprised to learn about you? Oh goodness. On here, I'm very typically calm and relaxed. And in my everyday world, I can say that like my feathers get ruffled a bit and I get very impatient and sassy, I suppose, with situations that I find very unfair or especially when someone or an animal is being treated poorly. You know, when I was growing up, my mom said I was always for the underdog, and that is definitely who I am. And it's like the mama bear comes out in me. I want to protect people. I want to protect especially animals. That's why I'm so huge on animal rescue and animal advocacy and preventing animal abuse, because they're so innocent. They're absolutely innocent. And maybe that comes from my childhood because I was innocent and abused. That's in a whole other video. I feel very passionately for people like that who are taken advantage of, especially from people in power. Yeah, my sassy, angry streak can come out when that happens for sure. And then the other thing that I think I've actually said possibly before, if you haven't heard it, I'll say it on here, is that I was born with this thing called CAPD, Central Auditory Processing Disorder. It comes up like almost like I can't hear properly, but what it really is my brain can't tune out noise. So if there's like loud music going on in the background and someone's trying to talk to me, I can't tune out the loud music. So it's like I hear everything, and then it seems like I cannot focus or hear what that person in front of me is saying. It's definitely affected how I process spoken information and also like how my environment is. So I've really had to adapt in those different environments and those different settings. It doesn't prevent me from doing things. It just means I have to figure out how to manage it. It's why a lot of times I don't like being out in public in really loud situations, because it makes me feel really anxious when it happens, because like my brain can't properly function, meaning I can't tune out the noises. And so then it just feels all chaotic and I just don't want to be there. Can you tell us your skincare routine and the makeup products you use, please, as I need your complexion? My mama taught me a long time ago to use oil on my skin. She used peanut oil. She was very poor in her younger years. And so that was when she started putting peanut oil on her skin. And she aged really, really well. Her skin was absolutely beautiful. So I learned from a young age to start doing that. So I've always used some kind of oil on my skin, like olive oil, avocado oil, any kind of oils that will sink into your skin. Now I use tallow on my skin because it really helps with my rosacea, I have discovered. The other thing is for my skincare, I use products that are typically free from fragrances. They just irritate my skin too much and my eyes. I can't deal with like fragrances and things like that. More natural stuff for sure. How did you get those cool gray streaks in the front that are face framing? I showed my hairdresser your pic and she said she couldn't do it for my hair. I'm jelly. I love that. They're natural, believe it or not. A lot of people do ask me that. Do I put these streaks in my hair? Nope, it's just how it grew out. I mean, I'll kind of put this up, but you can kind of see some of the gray here and here. But yeah, that streak is really concentrated right in the front. It's where I actually started going gray first, when I started going gray in my 20s. And so it's more salt and pepper back here, but no, it's completely natural, which I guess I'm thankful for because people tell me all the time like how cool it is and how much they like it. My question is, do you have Native American ancestry? You have such beautiful high cheekbones and remind me of friends I have grown up with in Oklahoma. Well, thank you. I do not actually have Native American ancestry. I thought I did growing up because my mom thought we did. I think she said that we were like part Cherokee Indian, but I did a DNA test and I have zero Native American Indian in me. Mostly Wales, Scotland, and a little bit of German. I think there's some Scandinavian somewhere in there, but it's like a minor piece. What made you decide to grow out your hair color? I love how the gray looks on you. Mostly because my hair is just super fine and I have been dyeing it forever, like since my 20s. I just decided like I just don't want to do it anymore because my hair is so fine. It was just starting to break and be brittle from all the dyeing, and plus I was having to dye it like every 3 to 4 weeks because the grow out was just getting so bad with the gray. And I just was like, nope, I'm done. I'm finally done with it. I tried to grow it out, mind you, 3 times. This is my 3rd attempt, which I wouldn't say it's the attempt. My 3rd time was the charm. And I re-dyed it because I knew I looked younger with it. Felt a little bit vain of being here on YouTube and thinking like, I need to look younger. I need to compete with a younger crowd from YouTube. And then I just decided, you know what? If you look at the demographics on my channel, nobody hardly in their 20s were watching my channel at the time. Now there's a bunch of you on here. Yeah, that's how it started. I just thought I'm gonna let my hair grow gray because nobody cares. If they want to judge me because my hair is gray, then you know what? That speaks more volumes about who they are than me, because we all age. And this whole idea that we need to make ourselves look younger is just dumb. Who decided to do that? Looking younger does not equal your life is better. It just doesn't. Aging is a very natural process. In my opinion, we just need to embrace it. Where do you get your inspiration month after month for your mail club, and how do you come up with the themes? So far, I've only been doing this since April. So April, May, June, July, this is my 4th month. It's been a little bit seasonal. So I think about things that have to do with the season, especially because there's like a recipe card in there. Also coincided to metaphors in life. Like the May one was a flower that I painted and it was about blooming slowly. And what does that mean? Because we were in the spring season. I just think about like, yeah, the seasonality and things that I'm going through in life. How did you start your mail club? Do you print everything yourself? I just did a lot of research in the beginning. There was other people who were doing mail clubs. And so I was researching like, what were they doing and how were they doing things, and just started learning by watching their videos. There's a lot of people who give some really good information about that if you're interested. And then just thought like, how could I implement this in my own business? Because I wanted it to be an extension of what I'm already talking about on my YouTube channel. So that's how it started. And just taking like the things that I love, making art and painting and writing and just that whole creative aspect. It just seemed like a natural fit. Plus my grandmother, my mama, she was a natural storyteller and a painter as well. Probably learned a little bit from her with that. Thought this is such a great thing for it to come full circle that she did it and now that I'm doing it too. The other side of the question was, do you print everything yourself? I print most everything myself. Print the art print, cut all the paper, print the art. I do the letter and I do like the stickers and stuff that go for the labels and all of that, and also all of the envelopes. But But the prompt card, the recipe card, and the other little goodie that comes in it, so far I've had printed at Vistaprint just because they have much better quality printers than I can have, and then it just saves me time. Do you run the mail club completely by yourself, and what does that really involve? Yes, everything is run by myself currently. 1 month I did have some help to pack things, but I generally can get it done in several days myself. 3 days of packing and then a couple of days of prep beforehand to like cut everything, to print all the envelopes, just get everything ready to start the process of stuffing the envelope. But yeah, so far I'm just doing it on my own. Okay, that is it. Thank you guys so much for submitting your questions. I really appreciate you participating. If I didn't get to your question, I apologize. There were just so many of them. But you have given me a lot of good information to do other videos on. I will eventually put something together that will hopefully address that in a little bit more detail for you. So thank you. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.